Hi, in this video we will see what is HTML and how we can create our first HTML document and then run it through some browser. So I'm going to use Visual Studio Code and on browser like Google Chrome, but you are free to use any sort of editor instead of Visual Studio Code. That is also fine, and also you can use any of the browser. So let's get started. HTML is a short form and the full form of HTML is Hypertext Markup Language, and this HTML is a standard markup language for creating web pages. So to create any web page, we use this HTML and it describes the structure of the page. And this HTML page consists of series of elements. This series of elements sometimes is called tag. These tags are something like that: paragraph tag or bold tag or italic tag or center tag or list item, something like that. We'll describe that later. And browsers use them to render the content of the page. So this is more or less about the HTML. Now we will create a HTML document and then we'll run through on browser like Google Chrome. We'll use Visual Studio Code, I told you before, but you are free to use any type of editor. I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop, but you are free to create this folder anywhere. On my desktop, I just right click and then choose new folder, and now I will rename the folder as HTML, but you are free to create this type of folder anywhere on your computer. I am doing this just to organize my code more professional way. If we access to the folder, we will see there is nothing. Basically, we just created this folder to organize our code, and then we will create our HTML file inside it by using Visual Studio Code. Now minimize this thing and let's open the Visual Studio Code editor. I'm using Mac computer, and to open Visual Studio Code on your Mac computer, just hold Command key and spacebar all together, and the Spotlight search will be there. And then over there, type Visual Studio Code, and you'll see the Visual Studio Code. Just double click or on click, and it will open the Visual Studio Code. If you are using Windows computer, then just click the Start menu and then type Visual Studio Code, and you will see the Visual Studio is there, and just double click to open Visual Studio Code. After opening the Visual Studio Code, we need to link that folder which we created in the desktop, this one, with Visual Studio Code. To link this folder, we have to go uh, file, and then we have to choose open, and it will open this type of window. From here we need to go to the folder location. My folder is on the desktop, so I'm going to desktop, and then I see there is HTML folder. Once you find that folder, just click open to link that folder. But if you are using other location, just go there and link to your folder with Visual Studio Code. So I clicked open, and I will see that it is linked our folder to our projects, and we are seeing HTML folder is there. Now to create a HTML file, at first we need to create a file. We can create file different ways. We can click this small plus and file like thing, and then we can click here, and then it will show this type of window. Over there we can create our file. Suppose our file name is index.html, index.html, and this HTML means this is a HTML document. All HTML document is ended with .html extension. Once you type file name and the extension, just hit enter or return key of your keyboard, and you will see the .html file is there, and in the editor it opened the file. Now go to welcome and close it because we don't need it anymore. And this is our HTML. Just type randomly something like hi, okay, and then save it. To save this file, you can do save, or you can use the shortcut. Now let's check how this file looks like in the browser. So I'm going to minimize this thing, and I'm going to open the folder where we created the HTML file, and then select that and right click and open with Google Chrome. I will use Google Chrome, but you can use any browser. So once we open the HTML file in the browser, then we see there is a text hi. By this simple HTML file and by typing some text, and if we run here in the browser, we are getting this type of output. But this is not the proper way to write the HTML code. Now we will see how we can write properly the HTML code. HTML document has three major elements. Those are doc type, then there is HTML head and body altogether. Okay, so basically these terms are pretty confusing at the beginning, but we'll see that in our editor very soon. But before that, I want to discuss a little bit of HTML. So the first element or major element of HTML is doc type. We need to define what type of document it is. It is a HTML document. That's why we are typing HTML, and by typing this thing, we are strictly telling the file or browser this is a HTML document. The second major tag is HTML, and this tag acts like the root of the document. And the third major tags are head and body. Head contains all the document metadata. The metadata may be like title, then link, Linking means some style sheet or some JavaScript. We'll learn those things later, not now. And there is another tag, it is called body, or this is also an element. The tags and elements are interchangeable. Sometimes we call tag and sometimes call it element. Each of them are element, and this contains the content of to be displayed. Based on these three major elements like doc type, HTML, head, and body, let's modify our index.html page, and let's see how it looks. So at first I'm typing doc type. I'm using Visual Studio Code, and this is the beauty of using this editor. If I type angle bracket, and then you will see the doc type, and then we can easily click here, it will complete our type. Okay, so if you use other editor, you might have to write everything manually. Okay, but if you use Visual Studio Code, once you type this thing, it will show you this thing. It will actually give you some solution based on the type of the file. Okay, so this is the first thing we have to mention, that this is the HTML document. We did that. And the second major thing which we discussed, that is called HTML. And we're seeing that it is suggesting HTML. Just I'm clicking here, and we have to close this thing. I will discuss this thing later, but let's create our first HTML first, then we'll discuss those things. Okay, so this is the HTML, and inside the HTML we discuss there are two major elements. One is head and that is body. So let's type the head first. This is the head tag, and then there is another one, body. Okay, and let's indent this to a little bit by pressing tab key. Okay, so this is the major structure of the element HTML document we saw. This is the first thing we have to define the doc type, and this is the root HTML, and inside this there will be two elements. One is head, and there will be another element, body tag. But there might be many other elements, we are not defining those things. And inside the head element, let's define something like title, and inside this title type welcome to my page. For example, I'm typing just simple line, welcome to my page. And inside the body we are let's type something like, here is the body, and this means content. Okay, so in this way we created a fast HTML document. I'll not discuss more details. This thing will come later, but this is as the introduction of HTML. That's why I'm trying to give you a basic idea what it is and how we can run it. Now let's save the document, file, save, and go to the HTML folder to open in the browser. So this is the folder, and we see this is the HTML document. And then to run this, we can right click and then open it browser, but you can use any type of browser. I'm choosing Google Chrome browser, and once we open, then we are seeing that this text is actually coming from the HTML. We know that. And if you want to see the HTML code, we can do one thing, we can right click and then we can choose view page source, and it will show us all the page source. Now let's compare whether these are same or not. Let's open Visual Studio Code and let's check, and we are seeing that these and these are the same basically. Okay, so this is the code view, and this is the output of those HTML tags. And from here we are seeing these tags are not visible. Okay, we discussed that this head, HTML, and body, these are tags, and we also discussed that this will not be visible by the browser, and that's why there is nothing over there. Only the content of this page is visible in the browser. If we notice on the title, we are seeing that the title has some text. The text is welcome to page, which we mentioned in the editor also. So in this way we can create our first HTML document using Visual Studio Code, and then we can run in Google Chrome. Thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, please like the video and comment. And also, if you are new to our channel, please subscribe to our channel.